here.
Thank you for listening, ladies.
Always.
Of course, Karina. We like to hear that.
I can't believe that'll happen in one day. But anyways, to the fuck.
We stopped on summer, right?
Yes.
What was that?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
This is a clear stop at summer.
I liked that. There's no way I can go ahead. I wanted to, but I did not.
What did we think?
Love. She fell in
It's
love.
This girl. At first, I was like, "Oh man, this guy." And then once they said his name, I'm like, "She's falling. She's falling." And then out of nowhere, bam! I'm in love with him. I crave him, and oh gosh, I don't know if they'll end up together though.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll end up together. They have a lot of obstacles.
It's very, very angsty for sure.
It's like the forbidden lovers or something.
But I can't imagine her going and being with Michael either. So.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
especially since now, like, do they do tests on your virginity or whatever? Like,
oh
that
my
seems
gosh,
like the kind of society. But I guess not though, because she kept saying like, I saw you in the meadow with so and so. So maybe they don't. You would think though, with such a like in Handmaid's Tale, I think they checked them.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I was about to say, did they mention that in the book? But I think you're like referencing Handmaids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think in Handmaids, like they like it was very like medical at the same time. Like they would check them and like they have to go for checkups and stuff.
Yeah, to the doctors. I remember that part.
I don't know.
I really liked it. I kind of thought maybe there might be a twinkle of like some romantic thing at the very beginning when I said something about like his muscly back or something, but I wasn't sure if that was just like a description. But I'm like, if he was evil, I don't think that they would have put that in there. Yeah. But I like his character.
They were like, I still had a feeling. I'm like, it's someone she knows. It's someone she knows. But then they kept going deeper into it. I'm like, okay, she clearly doesn't recognize the face once he removed it. And the voice. I'm like, okay, who is this guy? And of course, you're going to make it into a little semi-love triangle. Semi.
I wonder if Hans is going to come back later or something, because so far he seemingly has not factored into anything at all, which, you know, maybe he was just supposed to be a red herring for us because we thought that it was Hans, but it was really Riker,
yeah.
Reminded me of Ryle. I don't know why.
RY.
Weird R names. RY.
So Gertie likes girls, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like somebody predicted that, right?
Yeah.
And we wondered about it.
The crazy thing too, though, is they had already been kissing multiple times, and that's wild because she's over here. Kirsten's getting all mad because she got caught, not because like, oh my gosh, you kissed me, like it was the first time. I'm like, yeah, girl, look at you.
So clearly she's either also gay or bi.
Yeah,
seemingly she was into it.
I mean, if you weren't, you wouldn't like do it
multiple times.
Or if you didn't like it, you would have told someone like, get her out of here, or like do something to her, you know, like her evil little scheme. But she didn't. So
nice mug.
I get to do this because she has
they match.
I want the Morelia one, but they didn't have it.
I have the Morelia one.
Oh, okay.
If you don't go to Mexico before me, I'll bring you one next time.
Okay.
I want the Mexico ones. I thought the part about the biological like sneakiness was kind of sad, how they were giving the guys smallpox and they're making it seem like it was a result of the magic. That part was kind of scary. It's like, how much have they influenced what the poachers think and the men think and the girls think? But I wonder like how many people truly know the truth in the society.
Well, she already has like an idea, right? She says like, oh, that's just what they brought us here to ruin us or something like that. What did she say? To break us.
To break us.
Oh, were they giving them smallpox or they just happened to get it? Because I think her dad developed the vaccine And he was trying to vaccinate people.
I think, because what was that guy's name? Anders. Anders is the one that got it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who survived.
Yeah, I think the girls are probably for the most part vaccinated, and the other people are the ones getting it. And they're thinking they're getting it from the girls, but it's not. They're just not vaccinated. That's what I think.
That makes sense.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I like this section of the book because the first two, like especially the second part, was really like gritty and just kind of depressing and like, I don't know, like, you know, like gross at times or survival, just all survival. But now there's like some hope and some romance. So it really kind of lightened up the book. Thank God.
Yeah.
I still think some creepy stuff is going on. Like, how do you think the flower got into the dead girl's bone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who placed it there? Like, is there actual magic? Like, magic? Like,
who do we think is watching Tierney now that she is away from Riker? Part of me kind of thinks it is Riker. Like, maybe he's trying to give her hope and sneaking the flower in because he is a poacher. He must be, like, good at moving quietly. But I don't know who else it could be. I feel like I'm curious about the idea of Han still, but now based on what they said about the people who are castrated still being like just as evil or worse because they can't like satisfy themselves, that made me have like doubts about his character. I'm like, well, maybe he just seemed nice, but maybe he's actually like one of the bad ones. Maybe that will come out later in the book and Tierney's going to be disappointed in humankind and that will make her like force her to make a decision about, or not force maybe, but convince her to make a decision about leaving or not. Because she's going to see maybe someone who she thought was good is actually not. I don't know. Or maybe there's someone else watching, like a third party, fourth party, because we know the poachers are out there. We know, but we don't know who all the poachers are necessarily.
but who is this girl?
Like
the one with the scar? Doesn't she appear while she's like asleep or something? I don't know if she's dreaming. I don't know if she's dreaming or if she actually saw her. Like in the what's it called, that the where she's staying right now with Gertie. She's like, oh, the door was open, her hair was braided. And the girl like walks out and she said that it's someone's coming for her or something like that, right?
Could be.
Dream, no?
I thought it was
I didn't know if it was a dream or if it happened in real life because like she opened her eyes and noticed the door was like wide open and she's like, I could have sworn I closed it. And then her hair was braided when she'd fallen asleep with her hair loose.
I thought that it was Kirsten messing with her again, but that was just my interpretation. It could be something else.
Because that's what she thought, right? She's like, oh, she's the only one that knows how to do braids like that.
Exactly.
But then why did she see the girl, the one with the scar?
I feel like, I think partially there's some magic going on. Obviously, we found out that the well was drugged with that one
hemlock.
Yeah. So I think part of the craziness is that, but I think some sort of fantasy is going on because the flower thing is kind of weird how it just got there, and she's been there. She had been to that like little water area, and she had seen the bones. Maybe not the full thing, so maybe it was there the whole time, but I don't know. I don't think it was.
It could be real because when she's out there, she's not drinking the algae water. So maybe that's kind of thought they're trying to show us that the magic is real. Or maybe if there is like ghosts or spirits out there, they're trying to see like how much Trini can take. And if, you know, maybe they're trying to give her a sign of hope.
I thought it was really funny how I brought up last week that was like, oh no, the seeds fell. What if they grew? And then they grew.
That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
We were all like, no, that would never happen. And then it did.
That was a good part.
Clearly, I don't got a green thumb. That was awesome. I liked how she made everyone believe, oh, I'm just going to go out here and I'm going to get you guys some water. And then she brought all these things and now she's seeing us like.
It was smart because at this point they're so like they're messed up and they completely believe in the magic. So if she was continuing to deny it, they would have like mutinied against her again. So she, you know, she wants to help them, but she kind of has to like lie a little bit to get them into good health again, so that they're not continuing to drink the well water and all that.
But then Kirsten had her drink that nasty.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Part of me is like, by helping them, they're kind of remembering, and they're gonna go back to stage, like the first stage where they didn't like her and they're bullying her. And I feel like that's what happened when she had her drink that. And then she just like, she ran away, right? She tried to go into the, that also got me confused. There was like the entrance she came through and then it wasn't there anymore. Something like that.
I thought that either Anders is his name, Anders or Riker like sealed it. Okay. But that was just my, like, they never, I don't think it ever said that. No. That's what I thought that had happened.
Like something that was open for her wasn't open anymore, right?
Yeah, it was like that little hole in the fence.
The last connection that she could get through to Riker. So I feel like, yeah, she probably came out a different way.
Yeah. Well, I thought that like all of like that, the area with the spring and the skeletons and the plants is like still within the zone, and when the one time she fully went out of the zone through the fence was like when she was like accessible to Riker, but otherwise like there's like an invisible kind of boundary that the other girls don't go past because they're scared. Yeah. But she like will go into the wilderness area, but then there's like a fence or whatever that then is like where the poachers are and everything.
Makes sense.
That's how I thought it was laid out.
I was wondering if Anders left the flower, because like didn't he give the other flower?
And he knows about flowers.
Yeah, she did question that at one point, right? She's like, oh, he knows.
Yeah, this is like what?
When Riker gave the flower that he thought was like everlasting love, but it really meant goodbye forever or something dramatic like that. It's super shady. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't like Anders.
Riker didn't even know, and he's like, oh, I thought it meant this. And I was like,
I'm like, Riker, get it together.
I like the flower thing, that flowers have all these messages. So old school and romantic.
Yeah, well, they say that about roses, right? Like red is like the love. I know yellow is my favorite color, but it's get well.
I thought it was friendship.
Get well or friendship?
I thought it was mourning. No?
Oh, well,
I thought white flowers are kind of like mourning or like funerals, like white flowers.
Yeah, exactly. Purity and all that stuff, and
it probably also means different things in different cultures.
That too.
Like how the chrysanthemum is like the death flower sometimes, but
what does it say?
You have to turn down your brightness, girl. So you're like,
I know, I'm like,
I'm gonna do this palette. What does it say?
We can't read it.
It's friendship.
I've seen, well,
I thought it was friendship.
I've seen many.
I'm sure there's lots of meanings.
I like to look at them, but I know that people don't, and they just give whatever. I was like, okay, fine.
I think Rico, like some of the first flowers he gave me might have been like yellow. I think they were daffodils, even though I really liked daffodils. I was like, oh, I see you want to be friends. And he was like, yeah.
Oh, he was like, I didn't know that. He probably didn't.
Oh yeah, he didn't know. That's why.
You're like, oh, you're friend zoning me.
So I just keep thinking back to how the mom gave Tierney the advice, like, to drink from the highest point, right? Or she said something like that. So I'm just curious, like, did the mom's group figure out that well water was tainted?
Yeah, maybe that's why the mom is still kind of like has her wits about her a little bit. and like seems like for the society relatively normal.
Do you think she's gonna come back? Her mom's gonna be dead.
Oh no.
She says she was sick, right? Because she didn't realize that she was taking medicine, not like for the youth, right? She's like, oh, she was drinking tea, meant for people who were sick, and she was like sweating. So she had an infection of some sort.
It could happen. That would be sad.
I
feel like the parents kind of got redeemed a little bit in that, like, they, you know, in the end, they were helping people. They weren't, well, the dad mostly, but they weren't, you know, consuming the pieces. They were like actually like good people. So it'd be sad if the mom died.
Yeah, that makes me think that maybe if there is a resistance, maybe the parents are part of it, and maybe that's where the flowers are coming from too, if there's like another group. But yeah, I was really glad that the parents, horrible people after all. I feel like that helped maybe of them.
I feel like Michael, though, is like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that guy's gonna look out for her best interests. He's too entrenched in the, you know, and that's why he proposed to her in the first place, you know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like if she goes back, he's gonna want her to just be his wife, and he's not going to want her to do her own thing. So could be like a secret villain. I don't know.
Like, he is this nice person, but the power turns him into his core evilness.
And in the end, the system benefits him because he's like, you know, probably gonna inherit like what his dad has, and he's like one of the top guys. Yeah, and now he has the girl he likes is gonna be his wife. Like, it's all good.
Maybe that's her in on to changing the whole system.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll go for it.
What if Riker and Michael meet each other? Kind of like Peeta and Gale. I feel like that'd be so awkward.
Oh my god, like Riker comes back into the county, like, I'm here for her.
And then like what if like what if Riker somehow comes into the village, and then they're there, and then Jane will be like, oh yeah, this is Riker, he saved me, and Michael's gonna be like, yo, who is this, you know? It would just be interesting.
Like like Michael's gonna get a hit out on him or something.
It could be.
Maybe when they go to like get their payment, she'll go and meet up with him again. I don't know.
I want to see what's going to happen to Anders too, because he definitely changed his tune so quickly. I wasn't expecting that, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. It was too good to be true that he would just accept it at the beginning. Yeah. But I just feel like, Riker definitely can't see that side of him, sadly. And he doesn't really even care about Riker, I don't think, because he didn't care if he died if Tierney stayed. So that was just too angsty for me. I had to keep putting the book down. I need to get some break. I can't believe it.
Yeah. It's so weird there's like no technology. Like, he can't just email her.
Send her a quick text. Where'd you go?
Yeah. He's gonna have to like go to the town.
He needs to learn his flowers. That's how they're communicating.
Do you think Riker is devastated though? I mean, she did just leave. She didn't leave anything behind.
The flower.
Betrayed. Like, oh no, why did she leave?
The flower. That's why she's like, he'll understand. I just like explained it to him. Like, this means goodbye.
She did explain it to him?
Did she leave the same flower though that he thinks meant everlasting love, but then she told him?
I think she left it on the table. I don't know. They weren't clear on whether they had sex or not, but they were cuddling. And like she placed it on the table, and as she was leaving, she put it in his hand.
So maybe he needs to ask someone else what the flower means, but he might not figure it out right away.
Because you're right. I don't think he knows, and you're right. He's probably gonna believe like everlasting love. But don't you think that would confuse him that she's over here like giving this flower, but yet she left instead of staying.
It depends how smart we think he is.
That's also very true. Very true. I don't know. He doesn't know many flower meanings, so he's not that smart. Just kidding.
He's not street smart.
It's gonna be like in The Bachelor, Judith. I
didn't watch it yesterday. I was planning on watching it after this today. Was it good?
I watch it on Wednesdays because that's when it comes out on Hulu. But just about like not recognizing signs, I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I think Riker, if he figures out the meaning, then he'll figure it out because he'll know that Anders gave him the flower first.
Oh man, it's just Anders is.
I'm pretty sure he would tell him like, "Oh, I told her this, and she decided to leave."
Anders?
Yeah, like that. I think that's how he'll explain it to Riker. What's his name? Riker. Yeah.
I feel like he's like, oh, I don't know, man. Why did she? I don't know why she left.
She didn't love you.
He'll be like, she was using her magic on you just to get away. You know, I don't know.
Because he wants Riker to like, you know, not go after her, not care. You know,
cut it off, completely be gone, and stay with the poachers, and help out his family and not escape with her.
Do you think Riker will let it go though? Because I feel like that was very dramatic when Anders came. He's like, I want to be with her. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, with her there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That also escalated quickly.
Yes.
Stories.
I doubt it, but maybe he'll be like heartbroken for a little while. But I still think he won't he'll still care about her. And if there's a way to see her or I don't know, follow up with her in some way, I feel like if she appeared, I feel like he would just be like, why'd you leave? He would be like, go away.
He might have gotten his feelings hurt too much. Yeah.
Did you guys notice that they talked about other societies? So we have no idea what those other societies might be like, other than the fact that apparently women and men are more equal. Like there could be huge differences. Like there could be technology. It could be like completely different. And I almost wonder if, well, like there's a few like things that I thought about with that. I was like, number one, why don't these people that like aren't in the town just leave? Like why would they stay? And then number two, like I guess, really in the town, at least they can really control everybody's experience of like people feel like they can't leave or people are afraid. But like in the outskirts, like they're a little bit more free and they even know that there's these other societies. So like, why do they stay?
I think they
maybe
money,
it's not that
right?
well known. Maybe it's really hard to get there. I don't know.
He says something about going over the mountain.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a long journey.
Remember like how we saw the 46 marks? Like they've only been doing this grace year like 46 years or something. Like maybe this is some social experiment from another town.
Could be that they're afraid too about like, how I think at the beginning I said like how they took away some of their languages, like maybe they speak a different language or something, and that's an issue in terms of going over and just making a smooth assimilation.
Maybe they don't want people from the other town. Maybe they don't take in refugees. Thinking again about The Handmaid's Tale, more in the TV show, but where like they want to go to Canada, but like it was like a whole thing.
I wonder if her dad or Michael's dad has contact with the other town. You think they might?
Well, it's not like her dad gets around and she doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Maybe she thought he was in the outskirts, but he's going to these other towns.
Oh. That's an idea.
I mean, her dad doesn't seem like a bad person. He was out here trying to save people and getting them vaccines, and then telling Riker, like, hey, well, I guess that was like a 1-for-1 kind of thing. Like, I did this for you, you better do this for my daughter. I guess maybe. I don't know.
Wait, she does tell him what the flower really means. I just saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought that she thought it in her brain, but he does know what it is.
Oh, that's right. He said that he didn't know, huh?
And they giggle, right? They laugh or something like that. Because like, oh, that means.
Yeah, because he says, I guess Andrews isn't as good with flowers as he thinks he is, but then Tierney knows that he is, so it's like a symbol for her to like, you better actually get out. Yeah. But Riker thinks it's something sweet. So when she places it in his hand, then he does know that it symbolizes a goodbye. I think it's really funny that she stabbed him too.
Yeah.
Like unexpected.
The maggots part was so gross.
That part, and when she was coming back with the girls, I felt like I could smell the stench, and I'm like, oh God, please just move on. And she's like, oh, and then this, and then I think Gertie had her scalp infected or something, right?
Yeah, she's like, she touched something squishy.
Yeah, I think this
was like months later. It's still squishy.
Have any of you ever seen such a thing? I don't know.
We had a patient. Well, it wasn't my patient, but in residency, there was a patient in the hospital with maggots. But it wasn't mine, thank God.
Yeah, Julie was messaging me and she was like, it's so gory. And I was like, but Julie, like, aren't you immune? You deal with this stuff all the time. You're hardcore.
Oh, so gross. It was more like the relationships among the girls. It's so like savage.
Yeah. So intense.
Yeah, the maggots thing was gross.
What do you think will happen with the girls now that Tierney has come back?
And I'm kind of like agreeing with what you said, how I don't think it's all going to be all happy and teamwork, because Kirsten still hates her even when she's off the well water.
I don't know if they'll kill each other, because I feel like they were more extreme when they were like drugged. And I feel like right now maybe they'll be mean to each other, but not to the extent of killing. Unless I really don't think no, I don't think so.
Part of me
it really upsets them, right? Like whenever they bring up other girls that have died, they get like, stop. Like
guilty. Because even though they're drinking the drug water, they must have like some moments of clarity, you know. And part of me thinks that Kirsten does have to die just so like Tierney can get the loyalty of the other girls, because it's like two strong leaders there. So like maybe there could only be one. I kind of like hope that doesn't happen, but then I mean part of me is like, well, maybe I should. She already like did so much damage, you know, and she's the one that, you know, was leading them from the beginning. But I think what it might be like happen in an accident form, like maybe Kirsten will be thrown out and the poachers will get her, or maybe she'll try to show like that she's strong and nothing can happen to her, and then something will happen to her. I don't know if she'll be killed outright, but I kind of feel like she has to like not be in this book anymore for a resolution to happen, or she could change her mind. But I feel like if she changes her mind and she shows like that she's sorry about what she did, I don't think like I would be able to trust her anymore. Like, and if Tierney was also in that spot where you have to forgive somebody, like would she really be able to, you know? Or what if it's like the Lion King where they're trying to help somebody and then they just actually throw you to your death? I don't know. In terms of Kirsten killing Tierney, but I don't think that will happen either. It's just different possibilities.
I feel like the only way Kirsten could like be redeemed and trustworthy is if she actually came clean to everybody about what she did to Gertie. And about like that she has, you know, impure thoughts or whatever. Like otherwise she's, you know, I don't feel like she's trustworthy because she's, you know,
or what if
I hope that would happen because I feel like that would, you know, it would allow the girls to kind of like
overcome
be true to themselves and like band together in that way and like realize that the society is not letting them like be their true selves. But we'll see. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the people above me play their TV so loud that I can hear it. It's so loud.
I can hear Rico working with his power tools like in the shed on the other side of the building. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Not really.
Okay, good. It's not good.
I think Tierney knows, she was saying, oh, I gotta get them to drink this fresh water, but we have to make it seem like it's Kirsten's idea. You know, she kind of knows how to play it, but things don't play out like she wants, because I don't know if Kirsten's suspicious or what.
Yeah.
Kirsten's just really good at manipulating people.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a bully.
Mm-hmm. And she'd have to be vulnerable in some way, you know, to really be trustworthy, because she doesn't let, you know, she just uses everyone else's vulnerabilities.
You would think that it's she kind of had a soft spot for Gertie, especially since they had a previous relationship. Maybe that'll come back. She'll realize that she had feelings for her and feel like a total bitch for the way she treated her.
I mean, it could make sense because Gertie hasn't died or been killed yet. I mean, yeah, she cut off her scalp and her braid, but she's still alive, I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
She still kept her alive for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, compared to the other little girls that died, I didn't feel sad when I read that part.
Gertie can do better.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, she technically was tortured in a way. I mean, they didn't really... Wasn't she in some sort of room where it smelled worse? And then I think Tierney even mentioned that her pulse was very slowed down. So I'm she's basically dying. So I don't know. I think that's more of a torture than you know, helping her out. So I don't know. I think Kirsten is selfish for sure. And she's trying to make it out alive, but
maybe she's trying to do what she thinks she needs to do in order to have the best position in her life when she does come back. I don't know.
Yeah, because she didn't get Michael, she got some other guy, and maybe that other person is not as prestigious.
It's reminding me maybe she wants to see how far she can push the girls to witness the bad things that happen, and then whoever makes it back, she could be oh, I remember that you did this, and kind of hold that against them in a way to control them. Interesting.
Someone last time brought up that maybe she's been a plant. Does anyone still think that's true?
I think it could be a possibility, but I don't know if that's my primary prediction per se. Yeah, I think.
But I mean, I could see it. But then what's the motive? Getting rid of all the girls when there's already... Well, I guess there is more girls than guys. So maybe there's that. A way to get rid of some.
Do you think because she didn't like the person who put the veil on her, maybe she's trying to kill off as many potential wives as she can, and then maybe she'll have oh, I'm going to go with this person instead?
So I was thinking
that.
But
I don't know.
I was thinking about that, when, you know, like all the other girls are like dying or whatever, and she didn't get Michael. But I don't think they would give her the power to pick someone else, because the men are the ones who are picking, and the girls like have no say. So I don't think, even if she was like, let's say, one of the only ones surviving or one of the strongest ones, I think they're just gonna be like, here you go, Tommy. That's the same, right? Here's your wife.
Birds. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
I also wonder, since Tierney's mom kind of told her, like, go for the water, but then Kirsten, we previously said, like, oh, maybe her family, her mom, or her older sisters were the ones telling her, like, drink from the well, have everyone else drink from the well. I'm guessing maybe they're in different generations, like the moms. So one of them figured it out and then the other one didn't. Or maybe it played out differently, so they all have different plans for their children. I don't know though. I think that's too deep. I don't think anybody's thinking about it that detailed.
No, it could be because I imagine every parent would want their kid to survive, so they're going to give them the advice that they think will best help them survive. So I feel like it does make sense that to maybe like Kirsten's parents kind of trained her or coached her a little bit, like do this, do that, and you'll stay alive. Whereas like Tierney's parents gave her kind of more life skills, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. They're also not supposed to talk about the grace years. I'm like, would they risk telling their kids? What if it just slips up and then they end up dying? Because they're like, oh, well, your kid said. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very twisted.
I'm actually like really surprised. I don't know. There must be just like so much hatred and self-loathing and just like for the parents not to tell their kids.
Yeah. Like,
you know, like
been through it.
This is an extremely toxic society.
Yes.
Yeah, like what happened that they made this grace year?
It must be the indoctrination of like the altered religion, maybe is what I'm thinking. They're afraid of like maybe something happening again, like a disaster. But I think it could also be. Oh, go ahead, Crystal.
Oh no, I was just thinking out loud. Like it's like they're trying to avoid women coming to the conclusion that they can take over the government.
That's what I was gonna say. Like they just want to uphold patriarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can completely see how it would cause the women who came back to like hate each other, not trust each other, and like be against each other and stuff. But it's kind of crazy that it would go all the way to parents and their children. You know, like I find that to be really crazy. You know, that these parents would just be like, okay, girls. I mean, it really must be indoctrinated that girls are inferior and, you know, you only want men. And if you have a girl, like only the strong will survive and otherwise, whatever.
Exactly. I was thinking that right now when you were saying that, you know how obviously Tierney's mom hasn't had a boy, and that's what they want. So maybe that's why they're like, yes, I love my kid, but at the same time, I didn't want you. I wanted a man, or a male. So at the same time, maybe they don't care as much for the many girls that like I've had. Like maybe this is my second one and this is it, and then the other ones were like, give me a boy and I don't want you anymore. You know, like. But that's also evil, and I'm like, oh, a parent thinking that way, that's just sad.
I don't think she would though. She straight made her like a nice breakfast. Like
that's why she doesn't make the type.
But like, what about all the other parents that just like the girls knew nothing, they didn't have any skills, like just, you know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to hear those perspectives within the book. It would help us understand society more, I think.
So good.
Like, I'm just curious because there's so many more women than men. Like, weren't there 11 or something men and then like 30 of these girls and like half of them died off. Like, is this for population control or what?
That's what I'm thinking. But I also feel like causing some sort of fear on the women so they don't realize that they're actually more than the men and can take control and be the ones in power.
It reminds me of like ancient Sparta, where they would throw like the babies who were deformed off the cliff or something because they weren't like gonna be growing up well to be soldiers.
Yeah, and didn't they in Sparta, it's not this at all, I'm going on a tangent, but like wasn't it like communal also, where like the kids were like raised,
I think so,
like they were trained and they were raised together, and it was like very like it's all about like making the army, right? So
I think so, yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
I feel like I remember that from Julie when we were in middle school and we did those Greek. Were you in? I actually, you know what? I don't think you were in you had the same teachers as me, Julie, but I had McDaniel and Gray, and we did this whole thing on Greece and then Rome. We covered all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
we
too
did
bad.
that.
Those were fun. Those were fun.
In 9th grade, we read the Odyssey.
I read the Odyssey too in 9th grade, and it definitely wasn't one of my favorites. Maybe now it would be.
Yeah, it says if the baby was considered weak, Spartans exposed it on the hillside, which means they pretty much left the baby left it to die or took it away to become a slave. And the boys were removed from their mothers at age 7. That's crazy.
I don't think.
And girls were also removed at 7. Go ahead, Judith.
If you think of it that way, I don't think they'd be like getting the girls as an army, because they're kind of getting rid of some. And there's no way they're like, oh no, don't kill each other. You know, like if they wanted to have them as warriors or something. But
yeah, I think I was more just thinking about like how parents might be like, oh, I'm just gonna give up my kid or things like that.
Yeah,
I agree with what you said.
It's pretty crazy. Like they're 16. They've been with their parents for 16 years, and the parents are just like, bye.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go get poisoned and live in the woods.
Yep.
I feel like they also don't have a choice because the way they're just killing the woman, though.
Yeah.
So I think it's the fear that they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I have to do to follow the rules and have some of my family survive. Although they kill off the ladies pretty easily.
Yeah. That does remind me of like the Salem witch trials and how like just whoever neighbor could say like, okay, well this person's doing this and okay, off to be dumped in a lake or to be burned. Also using religion as a like excuse for that. So that's kind of like a similarity with this book.
You know, the population control part kind of does make sense. I do think though it's mostly about like control and fear, but like the population control sort of makes sense because in a society like this where everyone's so controlled, where there's all these rules, like you can't be too big because otherwise people are gonna, you know, you can't control everyone.
Yeah.
So, you know, by killing off the children that, you know, can move on to being adults, you're kind of controlling how big the society can get too. And then you're left with these like shell-shocked, you know, damaged women that you can just, you know,
have them do whatever.
Control.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Does anyone think maybe the status of the family has something to do with whether the girls survive or not? Maybe this is a stretch, but I'm just thinking how like Tierney's dad had access to medicine, which helped the poachers. But what if like it's kind of like rigs, you know, and they're like, okay, let me see who's going to survive, and maybe like if your family is like wealthy or they have more means, you know, they can like pay the poachers to make sure that their kids survive. Versus if you don't have as much, maybe those were the girls who were also like dying off first or being killed first. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I think it could have an advantage. I think it's an advantage for Tierney with her dad. I mean, who knows what he's doing? He seems to be doing good, but at the same time, who knows if he, you know how she was over here like, oh, maybe I have a sister out there. Maybe I'm seeing the sister.
She was thinking wild things, yeah, and it could still be possible. I'm curious to find out.
We will know in the next couple hours.
It seems like a very short section. But then again,
I hope
you
so.
say a lot in one page.
I know. I'm like, how is the whole revolution gonna happen?
Yeah, right? I know. Like, I have a lot to
And I
say.
have to have some time lapse.
Especially because there's certain sections where she goes deep into detail, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, sure.
That's funny. Well, we're all going to be shooketh, like Crystal said at the first meeting.
So that section is less than 100 pages, I believe. Maybe it's 100.
Who's going to read it tonight? I might. But if I start,
might.
I won't go to sleep if I start, though. That's the bad thing. But we'll see.
What time is it? Maybe. Did you guys bring your books?
I did bring a
Yeah.
No.
No.
I need to decide, so I'm going to look at them again.
Katie said she was gonna send me a book, but she didn't.
I'll text her.
Oh.
Should I pick another romance one? I feel like I always do that.
Whichever one you want to.
Oh. Have you guys read like Water for Chocolate?
No.
No, I know it's a movie though.
I think
That's
I've
in the
read it
movie.
once or twice. Do you have a picture of the cover?
I think you read it, Karina.
Once or
One about the
twice.
recipes?
What was that?
She said, I think I read it once or twice.
If I read it, it was twice, but I don't know. I don't remember if I read it or not.
I bought it when we were at the library, when they were selling books at the library in Swell. I haven't read it though.
Oh yeah, I think I have. I don't remember reading it though. It's been a while.
One of the doctors I work with, I don't know, I was talking to one of the residents about books because he wanted some suggestions. And she's like, oh, I have this one book. Oh, you should read it. It's not this one. It's the author of this one.
She has another one, I think, yeah.
It's called The Law of Love. And apparently it has like a CD that you can listen to while you're reading. So it's like magical realism. And I'm like,
oh,
I don't know if I want to suggest that though. Because then that means I'm just going to have to keep the book for a while.
Does the audiobook like have that in the background?
I don't know. Oh, good question.
like the what was it? Misery had that weird music.
Oh yeah.
That was so weird. I feel like a lot of older audiobooks used to do that, and now they don't.
The well-being of children in government-sanctioned orphanages. While Linus is unexpectedly summoned by extremely upper management, he's given a curious and highly classified assignment. Travel to Maurice's Island orphanage where 6 dangerous children reside. A gnome, a sprite, a wyvern, an unidentifiable green blob, a were Pomeranian, and an antichrist. Linus must set aside his fear and determine whether or not they're likely to bring about the end of days. But the children aren't the only secret the island keeps. Their caretaker is the charming and enigmatic Arthur Parnassus, who will do anything to keep his ward safe. As Arthur and Linus grow closer, long-held secrets are exposed, and Linus must make a choice: destroy a home or watch the world burn. An enchanting story masterfully told, The House in the Cerulean Sea is about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours.
Hmm. It's like kind of fantasy a little bit.
Yeah, kind of reminds me like Harry Potter, like X-Men or something, with the children, like the magical children.
Mm-hmm. House in the Cerulean Sea.
I'll go next.
Okay.
So I pitched this before. I was going to pitch that Empire of Pain book again, the one about like the OxyContin development and the family behind it. But I started reading it and I'm already halfway through, and it's like an insanely long book. It's so good. But like I spoiled it because I already read half of it.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about that book because there's some patients that are like on these drugs and stuff like that. And I'm like, someone pitched this book. What was it called? And I was gonna go looking for it, like, the videos. And I'm glad you just brought it back up because I'm like,
what is the name again? I want to read it.
It's called Empire of Pain. It's honestly probably too long for our book club. Honestly, it's pretty long, but it's nonfiction. But the way that it's written is like really engaging. It's like the opposite of like the book that we read in January. It's like they give lots of details and you can like really get in the head of the people that it's talked about. It's kind of like, it's like Succession, except they run a drug company and a bunch of like, you know, related things. It's really interesting. But anyway, the book that I'm pitching
back to the book
is called Detransition, Baby. And it's by Torrey Peters, Torrey, and then just Peters. Read the description. Reese almost had it all: a loving relationship with Amy, an apartment in New York City, a job she didn't hate. She had scraped together what previous generations of trans women could only dream of: a life of mundane bourgeois comforts. The only thing missing was a child. But then her girlfriend Amy detransitioned and became Ames, and everything fell apart. Now Reese is caught in a self-destructive pattern, avoiding her loneliness by sleeping with married men. Ames isn't happy either. He thought detransitioning to live as a man would make life easier, but that decision cost him his relationship with Reese, and losing her meant losing his only family. Even though their romance is over, he longs to find a way back to her. When Ames's boss and lover, Katrina, reveals that she's pregnant with his baby and that she's not sure whether she wants to keep it, Ames wonders if this is the chance he's been waiting for. Could the three of them form some kind of unconventional family and raise the baby together? This provocative debut is about what happens at the emotional, messy, vulnerable corners of womanhood that platitudes and good intentions can't reach. Torrey Peters brilliantly and fearlessly navigates the most dangerous taboos around gender, sex, and relationships, gifting us a thrilling, original, witty, and deeply moving novel. Sounds messy.
Yeah. Let's have good discussion.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sticking with my repitch. So I'm pitching a thriller, Pretty as a Picture by Elizabeth Little. I'll just read the back again. Marissa Dahl, a shy but successful film editor, travels to a small island off the coast of Delaware to work with the legendary and legendarily demanding director Tony Reese on a feature film with a familiar log line: some girl dies. It's not much to go on, but the specifics don't concern Marissa. She'll spend her days in the editing room doing what she does best, turning pictures into stories. But she soon discovers that on this set, nothing is as it's supposed to be or as it seems. Drawn into the investigation of the unsolved real-life murder that the movie takes as its central subject, Marissa soon realizes that the killer may still be on the loose and he might not be finished. A wickedly funny and thrilling behind-the-scenes whodunit, pretty as a picture is the latest page-turner from one of the most distinctive voices in crime fiction. And that concludes my notes.
Yes, a picture. Okay.
Good choices, good choices.
Are you pitching one, Crystal?
Yeah, I just pulled one off my thing.
Oh.
I'm doing A Flicker in the Dark.
Ooh.
What's that?
And I'll just read the inside. Well, there's nothing on the back. It says, when Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. While she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to achieve, she sometimes feels out of control of her own life. As the troubled teens who are her patients. So when a local teenage girl goes missing and then another, that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask the killer? From debut author Stacey Williams comes a masterful done lyrical thriller, certain to be the launch of an amazing career. A Flicker in the Dark is eerily compelling to the very last page.
I like thrillers.
Katie sent me one. It's a long one. It's like 430 pages. I'm like, oh my god.
Katie wants to read.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be as good as this one.
Under the Banner of Heaven, a story of violent faith.
I randomly got a chill.
Says, defying both civil authorities and the Muslim establishment in Salt Lake City, the renegade leaders of these Taliban-like theocracies are zealots who answer only to God. Some 40,000 people still practice polygamy in these communities. At the core of this book, there are brothers Ron and Dan who insist they received a commandment from God to kill a blameless woman and her baby girl. Beginning with a meticulously researched account of this appalling double murder, he constructs a multi-layered, bone-chilling narrative of messianic delusion, polygamy, savage violence, and unyielding faith. Along the way, he uncovers a shadowy offshoot of America's fastest-growing religion and raises provocative questions about the nature of religious belief. That's intense.
Wow, yeah.
It was nonfiction, right?
I believe so. I just opened it. She sent it through my DM.
It sounds like it has similar themes in a way to the one we're reading now, which is interesting.
I want to say it is nonfiction. I don't think it's.
I love when Katie pitches it. She'll be like, I heard this was so good. Someone read it in one night. Ask her why she pitched it.
Oh, we'll have to tell her at the next meeting to just read the
Yeah.
She does have a way about saying things.
I don't know if I want to pitch one. Let's see. No. I guess I'll do. Should I do? Oh, why not? It seemed to be going with murder.
Murder.
March murder, Miss.
The
March
Ides of
Madness.
March.
Ooh, murder madness.
I love it. I love it. Let me see if there's a one-eye emoji. I don't know if that exists.
I'm gonna drop one. Oh God.
What you got, Judith?
I'm sure you've seen it. I think this is murder.
I almost read that one a little bit ago.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
I've
not
read
read
it
it,
everywhere.
just seen it.
What's her name? What's her name? What's her name? Book club. Reese's book club.
Oh yes, yes, that's where I've seen it.
Yeah, I got it at the book of
Fucking
the.
Reese. Our girl Reese.
I don't remember if this is murder or not, but someone disappears. So it says before Owen Michaels disappears, he manages to smuggle a note to his beloved wife one year. Protect her. Despite her confusion and fear, Hannah Hall knows exactly to whom the note refers. Owen's 16-year-old daughter, Bailey. Bailey, who lost her mother tragically as a child. Bailey, who wants absolutely nothing to do with her new stepmother. Oh, that's sad. As Hannah's increasingly desperate calls to Owen go unanswered, as the FBI arrests Owen's boss, a U.S. Marshal and federal agents arrive at their Sausalito home unannounced, Hannah quickly realizes her husband isn't who he said he was, and that Bailey just may hold the key to figuring out Owen's true identity and why he really disappeared. Hannah and Bailey set out to discover the truth, but as they start putting together the pieces of Owen's past, they soon realize they are also building a new future, one neither of them could have anticipated. With its breakneck pacing, dizzying plot twist, and evocative family drama, The Last Thing He Told Me is a riveting mystery, certain to shock you with its final heartbreaking turn. Murder. Just kidding, it's not.
Last thing he told me.
Last Thing He Told Me by Laura.
I like to write them down too in case I want to go back to read them later on. Thank you.
Whatever happened to Rico? Is he still going to join book club every other month?
I don't know. He stopped at the Tessa Bailey one, huh? I'll ask him.
Yeah,
He was
traumatized.
We scared him. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
He's working on reading The Institute by Stephen King, but he's reading a little bit at a time. He gets distracted with his video games and all his projects.
He should do the audiobooks when he's driving.
Yeah. I'll remind him and see what he says.
Okay. Well, I will send you guys the form. And do it by the end of this week.
Yeah.
And I mean, as soon as everyone turns it in, I post it. So up to you guys. You can do it by Friday, by Thursday.
Okay.
I'm excited to see.
I think we've all been pretty fast.
Yeah. You guys see
They like want to
I'm
know.
usually the last one, I think.
I think I do it like the next day or whenever I see it. I get excited. I'm like,
The only person I think that needed to, it was me and someone else. And I'm like, oh, my bad. Here I go. Let me vote.
Yeah. One time I did my vote and then right after it was like posted. I'm like, oh, see it.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what gets chosen.
alrighty.
We'll see what happens.
In the book. We'll see if I survive the rest of the week.
I know.
Hopefully
same.
nothing crazy happens.
Oh, I'm sure there will be something.
I hope everything crazy happens.
Oh my gosh.
If something dramatic happens.
It's because we need something to talk about at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like, guys,
Very true.
we haven't had that yet.
What?
Where someone just comes in, like we're all just like, we got to talk.
Honestly,
Karina
last
usually,
Tuesday was really, really crazy at work for me, but this Tuesday today was a lot better, so thank God.
Mine was sad. There's like a lady that showed up. Well, not even a lady. She's like young. And her baby died. So
That is sad.
I know. But then there was also another lady well, I guess it could be sad. They kept telling her to go get induced, and she's like, no, no, no. And she had a C-section, so they don't let them get induced after a certain time. And she's like, no. And the thing is that she keeps listening to her husband, so the husband's making the choices, which is sad, because she's over here like, no, I don't want a C-section, I want to have it naturally and all this stuff. And not until
I thought you couldn't.
What was that?
I thought you couldn't after you've had a C-section.
You can. The hospital that my clinic is connected with, their institution, they have certain rules where they allow. Obviously, it can't be like, I think they have to have, if they had a C-section, 18 months between the pregnancies. So they have all these rules, and one of them is like, if you are 40 weeks, I don't think they induce you after 40 weeks. So like if you don't have any labor pains or any of that stuff, like you're gonna have a C-section. They're gonna schedule it, and she didn't want that. And she was at 41 weeks, and she was like, "No, I want to get induced. I want you to, take the baby out, but not a C-section." And her baby almost died, and it was chaotic, and yeah. So,
so did she have a C-section?
She did have a C-section, but it was I think her uterus ruptured.
Oh,
yeah. And
it was emergency.
It was an emergency. And like, I mean, I don't understand everything they're saying, but the doctor was explaining more about it today, and she's like, the baby was floating in the abdomen, the placenta was floating in the abdomen. This doesn't happen. And it's like, the doctors are probably like, they're gonna have some like trauma, because this isn't a regular thing. And I was like, oh shit. But many doctors advised her, and she didn't listen. And
yeah, like,
the baby's okay.
This is why they tell you to do this.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's some patients.
That's why, like, so many women used to die in childbirth. Like, yes, our bodies are made for it, but I had a patient. She's like, "Oh, I have history of cysts on my ovaries, so can you order an ultrasound to check my cysts?" I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, it shows she's pregnant, like 5 weeks pregnant.
Oh, God.
So I had to call her and be like, "You're pregnant."
What?
And she's like,
That's
"Oh,
like my
yeah."
fear.
She's like, "Oh, yeah, I know."
Oh my. Oh.
Why wouldn't she say that?
Well, I mean, I ordered this, like, she didn't know she was pregnant when I ordered it, but I think she missed her period, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, I did a test, and it was positive." I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll have someone call you to, like, get you scheduled with OB-GYN, but I did her PAP, and then that's when she's like, "Oh, I want to check my cysts," and I wrote in my note, like, patient is not on birth control. I probably talked to her about it, so. But I don't know.
Foreshadow to later.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there you go.
Just like all of our books, so they all get pregnant. We'll see if Tierney is pregnant. Hopefully not.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. Ah!
Who?
Oh.
Tierney.
Oh. But the possibility, though, I was thinking about it. I'm like, she's gonna go back, and if because we don't know if she actually was intimate with Riker or not. They weren't very detailed about that part. It just sounded like they were.
I feel like it was implied, but yeah, we don't know.
Exactly. So I'm like, she's gonna go back with Michael. It's like Michael, they're gonna, pretend over here that they were intimate. And they're like, yeah, it's your kid, and it's like, it's not. It's Riker's.
It's not gonna come out
my
blonde.
goodness.
It's gonna come out with dark hair.
Yeah.
I feel like it was her act of rebellion, though, because she was so mad that Andrews was like forcing her out, that she was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and that's why he thought that they did, in fact, do it.
Yeah.
I think she's very infatuated, though. She's like, oh my God, this is the one guy I've never felt like this with my kid.
That's what they all say.
But you know what? The difference is Riker's probably also never felt like this before. So they're both on the same playing field of not having any experience with the opposite sex at all, pretty much. Well, he's slept with other people, but like not like cared, you know, like,
Yeah.
so they're sort of equal. Like, he's not like, you know, like,
Totally.
you know, I'd be a lot more concerned if he, you know, I don't know, if she like went to some new society where like they don't have this, and then she fell in love with this guy, you know, they both like have lived sheltered lives in a way. So like he fell for her real fast.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of It Ends With Us when they just kind of like bam, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, I love you. Oh, jeez.
Sorry, it ends quickly.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, if you're spending all day with someone, you're bound to form some sort of feelings for this person.
And then he rescued her.
Yeah.
And he
And he
takes
was butt
maggots out of
naked
her
and handsome.
arm.
Like he did.
Then you really fall in love when they take maggots out of you.
That's hilarious.
You're right.
No, it actually
There's
was
no
when he
way.
removed his shroud, and she was like, "Oh, his features."
I
That's actually what it happened.
This was falling.
She's like, "Oh, he's hot. Okay, cool. Whatever. I don't care if he kills girls. It's cool. He's hot."
There's no way my husband would like clean my wound like that.
Oh man.
Oh,
Team
I
right.
don't know if I would do it either. I'd be like, you need to go to the ER.
Oh, man.
silly. And he sewed the shirt for her too, like all these like little tiny things.
Oh
Just like,
yeah.
I
He
wish
drew
did
her
it.
a bath
A
with
rose
flowers
bath.
and oils
I
and
was
tea
just
tree
gonna
oil.
say that. Who does that?
He's such a romantic. He brought her the wrong flower.
I don't know if she'll be getting any baths with what's his face, Michael. So
Oh my God, no! He'll be like, "Draw me my bath," and then go in the other room and pray.
Oh, Team Riker.
Riker.
Oh yeah, if you have to pick between the two, definitely Riker. I'm going for the RY this time, unlike the last book where I hated Ryle. Hated that guy.
Yeah, he was shitty.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
We shall.
Okay. Let's start reading.
I want to, but
Yeah.
Ready, set, go.
maybe tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow.
Okay, well, we'll see you in a week.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.